Las Vegas delivered an excellent race, complete with a first-time winner, close racing, and, most importantly, more controversy. Kyle Busch, Ryan Blaney, and Joey Logano have once again found themselves embroiled in controversy. Their reaction to other drivers and NASCAR has been wild. First and foremost, Kyle Busch received terrible news that made him unhappy. The number 8 car was ready to take advantage of the slowed green flag pit cycle. Then he accelerated down pit road. Of course, Busch claimed he had done nothing unlawful, but NASCAR fined him nonetheless. This race had recently been reversed at the time. Drivers had barely begun down pit road, dividing the opening stage in two. Then Chase Briscoe lost a wheel. Ryan Blaney is trapped 2 laps down after a botched stop. This allowed a number of drivers to advance up the field. Busch proceeded with caution during his pit stop and was willing to accept a top 5 starting position as a result. Well, his penalty kept that from happening. "That's insane," Busch said over the radio. "I never saw a blue light down pit road. I'm on page 3. Kyle Busch is probably talking to the LEDs on his dashboard. This tells drivers roughly how fast they're going down pit road. His team is also unhappy since they were given the penalty late. The strange thing is that Busch had just blasted NASCAR the day before for how penalties are handled. Only a day later, he got the short end of the stick again. All because he spoke out about recent controversies involving NASCAR's approval process and driver penalties, which made him wonder who should be making such difficult decisions. Kyle Busch has always been an outspoken driver who never hesitates to share his opinions, so it's no surprise that he's investigating NASCAR's approval process and whether certain drivers with limited stock car experience should be allowed to race at the Cup level, regardless of their background. Some questioned Helio Castroneves' decision to run the Daytona 500 despite having no previous NASCAR starts, as well as Catherine Legg's decision to run Phoenix after having no oval starts in any of the national divisions in 2018. Both have extensive experience racing open-wheel and sports cars, but neither has won a race. "Yeah, I don't have a great answer," Busch said when asked about the approval process at a Saturday media availability. "I feel like I've questioned the approval process for a long time." Being an owner in the Truck Series with Kyle Busch Motorsports, which shut down after the 2023 truck season, and seeing some young drivers get opportunities at different tracks versus my drivers that I was trying to get them opportunities at some of those same tracks getting denied, so I was very confused, and probably I'm even more confused now on how it all works. I think it's broken. Busch added, "There's a lot of work that could be done to make it better." He went so far as to question how executives are chosen to participate in such conversations. "I also do feel as though it shouldn't be suit and ties making the decisions always," according to him. "Certainly there can be some that need to be involved, but I do feel like there needs to be fire suits involved in some of those decision-making processes on those that need to be approved or not approved for various activities." Drivers have also questioned why Austin Cindric's aggressive right hook of Ty Dillon at COTA was not penalized, despite previous incidents. NASCAR indicated that it was due to the nature of the incident, but should the outcome be weighed against intent? Busch believes those anonymous executives should not be involved in monitoring on-track situations like that, and he has a suggestion for who should. The Austin Cindric deal, "I don't think suit and ties should be producing that. I believe you should be reprimanded by your peers." So, what is the solution to all of this extra track time and veterans who decide penalties? The NASCAR Cup Series is currently incredibly limited, with only one fast practice session available most Saturdays. However, as Busch points out, things are not always so straightforward. Testing is tough because obviously I would say that if we're talking about Catherine's leggy situation, I don't know how much extra funds there are there with that situation, Live Fast Motorsports, to be able to go out to Phoenix a week early and go test, you know what I mean? But that obviously would be beneficial to not only the team but also the driver in that case to just go out there and get some reps, get some laps, get some seat time, feel the car out, get it more comfortable than probably what she was able to do in just the short practice that we have. So how that all works, I'm not exactly sure. If it's a 4-hour session on Thursday or Friday or like the day before or something, I think that that could certainly be a waiver piece that is allowed for, some first-timers. For the time being, no changes are being made, but Busch is not alone in wanting the system recalibrated in the near future, especially after yesterday's controversial penalty. Enough of that, let's get back to the race, because Busch wasn't the only one mired in controversy. Ryan Blaney also had a terrible day on the track. The NASCAR champion encountered numerous problems, the most serious of which caused him to finish 35th in the race. Everyone knows Ryan Blaney gets agitated in the car. This time he could have a good reason to be unhappy. 4 wide on a restart, and the track couldn't handle it. The crash involving Christopher Bell, Noah Gragson, Bubba Wallace, and Blaney was 4 wide. Blaney ran out of room after Gragson made contact with his right rear. Then the wrecking began. Ryan Blaney was quite upset. He yelled out Bell on the radio. "The effing 20 just shoves it in the middle," Blaney told Dustin Albino. "He has no regard for anybody. I don't know." This race was wild. All of the pit road mistakes and occurrences on the track have resulted in an intriguing adjustment in pit strategy. However, after leaving the medical center and viewing the tape, Ryan Blaney appeared to accept responsibility for the collision himself. He was less upset after witnessing the 20-car fleet. Demonstrates how different he is inside and outside of the car. Finally, we will discuss Logano, who started second and ended 20th. Another bad day for the 22-person crew. Logano has many reasons to be dissatisfied after the first 5 races of the 2025 season, but a lack of speed is not one of them. Joey Logano, the incumbent NASCAR Cup Series champion, has had a difficult start to the season, but wants to capture his 4th title in 2025. The Team Penske driver led 43 laps until colliding with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. at the Daytona 500 due to a space issue. In Atlanta, he led 34 laps before tiring late and finishing 12th. He did not lead any laps at COTA, but he was on pace for a top 10 finish until Todd Gilliland pushed him to 24th. And in Phoenix, he started on the first row and led 33 laps before an early restart penalty destroyed his entire day. "Frustrating is the one word that comes to mind," Logano said about the beginning of his title defense. "I think I've left the racetrack every single weekend mad at something, that's part of racing sometimes." Logano, on the other hand, can take satisfaction in a few accomplishments. His 207 laps led this year are the most by any driver, and he likes to focus on the positives despite the disappointing results. "You've also got to move on quickly, and you also got to look at what you've done well," added Logano more specifically. "And as a team, we've done great at leading laps. We've been towards the front, we're tied for 7th in points, which shows we've scored a lot of stage points. So even though the finishes aren't there, we've been able to run up front enough to score the stage points and to be able to be in contention, so there's some positives there. It's not like we're just slow, it's just something has happened every race so far." That part is frustrating in a way because it also feels like you're not taking full advantage of the opportunities ahead of you because you've had race cars and you really haven't been able to convert, but that's also sometimes just how racing goes, and you have to learn from your lessons and keep going. Logano had a decent opportunity of turning things around last weekend, and not just because he had the most wins among active drivers in Las Vegas. However, the driver of the number 22 Team Penske Ford rolled off on the outside of the front row in second place on the grid, but it wasn't meant to be, leaving him disappointed once more. What were your opinions on last weekend's race? Was it a good one, or just another one fraught with controversy? Let me know your opinions in the comments section below.